call this meeting to order. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, the Press of Atlantic City, and the Star Ledger, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOBM News on Monday, January 6th, 2020, and thereafter posting same on the Town Hall Bulletin Board for such notices, and filing same with the Township Clerk pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Township Council on Friday, January 3rd, 2020. The meeting dates have also been posted on the Township webpage. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Here.
Councilman Kopp.
Here.
Councilman Latano.
Here.
Councilman Roderick.
Here.
Councilman Turnbach.
Here.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Here.
Council President Maruka.
I'd like to make a motion to give Councilwoman Maruka an excused absence, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The first item on the agenda, the approval of minutes of June 23rd, 2020.
Move the minutes.
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
That was Councilwoman Latano.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Latano. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Latano.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan.
I have to abstain as I was not present.
We do not have any honoring resolutions or presentations tonight, so we will move on to item number 7, which is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements and the acquisition of various capital equipment, appropriating $11,686,420 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $11,102,099 in bonds and notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof, authorizing in and by the Township of Toms River and the County of Ocean, New Jersey. This is a final reading.
Council?
Motion on final,
No.
please.
No,
I'm
you have
sorry,
to allow for public comment.
Allow for, is there any public comments on this bond?
Seeing none, I move to close the public comments portion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Council?
Motion to move on final.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Latano, seconded by Councilman Kopp. Councilman Latano?
Yes, these capital improvements are things like paving your roads, the police cars, maintaining our town. This is an important part of what we do every year. I vote yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
No.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 8, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, replacing Section 8.4 buffer areas, screening, landscaping, and shade trees, and replacing it with a new Section 8.4 landscape and buffer standards of Chapter 348, Land Use and Development Regulations of the Township Code, first reading.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Kopp. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
I'd just like to make one comment on this. This is the first reading of our new landscape ordinance. I'm a member of the Land Use Committee, and we worked very hard on this ordinance. This ordinance will help curb unnecessary development, with also help beautify Toms River. This ordinance will be strictly enforced. We will start seeing changes immediately. And that being said, I vote yes.
Councilman Latano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 9 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, restructuring certain administrative positions in the Department of Finance.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Latano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
I'm going to abstain, as I'm not aware of what these changes are or what the justification is for them, so.
Perhaps we could have Mr. Davidson explain?
Yeah. Alex, please.
Hi, Council. What this ordinance is doing is, the result will be no new positions. All it's doing is changing the titles of certain positions. So certain positions that were formerly referred to as administrative assistant, it's going to be payroll supervisor, payroll coordinator, instead of assistant to the deputy CFO and the accountant. So it's really just tightening up some of the job classifications and the duties under each classification. There's no new positions as a result of this restructuring.
Okay, then I vote yes.
Councilman Roderick votes yes. Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 10 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing the following positions and salary ranges of Section 147-1, salary ranges of Chapter 147, Salaries and Compensation of the Township Code, Schedule C, Supervisory Employees, Schedule G, Toms River Professionals Association, white-collar employees, and Schedule H, confidential employees. First reading.
Move the ordinance on first.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbuck. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbuck.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Latano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
No.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes.
All matters listed below under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately.
Okay. Does any members of the council have any items they would like to see discussed separately?
I would like to have a roll call on S, please.
S is in Sam.
Yes.
Anyone else from the council? Any members from the public, would you like a discussion? Yes, sir. J as in John? Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Move the balance of the consent agenda other than items J and S.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Latano to move the balance of the agenda with the exceptions of item S and J. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Latano.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Abstention.
Councilman Turnbuck.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes. We'll move item J first. Come on up, sir.
My name is Mark Anderson, 12 Park Street, Township of New Jersey. I'm just curious what J really means. I'm not understanding.
All right. I'm sorry, Dave. Hard to recognize everybody behind the masks. Thank you.
CDBG grant.
Forgetting that on. Item J is it's an annual agreement we do with the Department of Housing and Urban Development to accept the Community Development Block Grant. The amount that's in the resolution is the amount that's in the agreement. That's what was allocated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the fiscal year that starts July 1st next June 31st.
So that money is given to the town for the use of that?
We use it for our affordable housing rehab program and our community development block grant program.
Perfect. Great, thank you.
Okay. Council members, here.
Move item J.
Second.
Item J, moved by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbuck. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbuck.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Latano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
No.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes. Okay, item S. Councilman Latano.
Yes, I just wanted to bring this to light. This is what we've been talking about for several months. It's the Efficiency and Best Practices Study. Tonight, we get to award a contract to get that underway, which is the plan to save the taxpayers a very considerable amount of money. And basically, it is a roadmap to a more efficient and cost savings town. So it's a very good thing. I wanted to pull it aside just to make note of it.
Very
Do
good.
you want to move it?
Motion to move the,
I have a quick question. Did we find a firm,
yes.
and we went out to bid for that?
If you read the resolution, it's right there.
I did read the resolution.
Yeah. There's.
Yes, the administration,
It's right there.
And what firm was that?
it's the Government Strategy Group.
Okay.
Okay, you made a motion.
Yes, motion to,
Second.
thank you.
Motion made by Councilman Latano, second by Councilman Kopp. Councilman Latano?
Yes.
Councilman Kopp?
So just before I vote, I just want to thank the admin committee for their hard work in getting this on the agenda for this meeting. Changes are happening, and today is the beginning of a fresh and much-needed boost for Toms River. This is something I wanted since coming into office. One thing you learn quick in this position is this town is a lot more complex and bigger than you can imagine. This efficiency study will help give us a roadmap to follow with unbiased and facts-based opinions on major decisions that we will need to make in what I like to call the action phase of this study, which starts this year. This will lead to an increase in quality and a decrease in cost for this town. And that being said, I vote yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes, hopefully we will take the recommendations and implement them. So yes, I vote yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan?
Yes.
Next up are the reports. May I have a vote for the reports?
Yes. Council?
Move the reports.
Second?
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kopp?
Yes.
Councilman Latano?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan?
Yes.
And next are the bills.
Move the bill list.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, seconded by Councilman Kopp. Councilman Turnbach?
Thank you. Abstain from PO 20-3346, payable to Toms River Magistrates. Abstain from PO 20-893, 20-2728, 20-3102, 20-3502, 20-1314, 20-3161, payable to law offices of Darcy McGuckin. I'm a local attorney in town. I have conflicts with both of those. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Kopp?
I need to abstain from the following: 20-03180, payable to Silverton First Aid. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Latano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Abstain from PO 20-00162, payable to the Borough of Lavallette, and PO 20-03160, and 20-03162, payable to Remington and Vernick Engineers, and PO 20-03346, and 20-03346, lines, no, they're both lines 18, sorry. As it pertains to the recreation salaries, and yes to the balance.
Councilman Roderick?
I'm going to vote no on Bill 20-00785, 20-03502, 20-03161, 20-03102, and 20-01314, as I think some of these bills may in fact be illegal.
And you approve the balance?
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan?
I just have one abstention to Silverton First Aid Squad. That's 20-03180. Yes to the remainder.
And next we have elected officials' comments.
Mayor Hill.
Thank you, Council Vice President. I want to thank Jesse Sipe and the Sipe Adjustment Agency for organizing and paying for the 4th of July fireworks at Shelter Cove. Also want to thank the volunteer fire department, Toms River Police Department, EMS, and township employees who helped make the event a huge success. Jesse first approached us with the idea of having a 4th of July fireworks display at Shelter Cove when the annual Beechwood fireworks display was canceled in early June. He was able to pull it all together and obtain the necessary permits in a very short period of time. After 4 months of quarantine as a result of the pandemic, it was a great event to celebrate our nation's 244th birthday. The event was spectacular, viewed not only from Shelter Cove, but all along the bayfront and the Barrier Island, in addition to hundreds of boats on the Barnegat Bay. It was a proud, patriotic night for Toms River, and I want to thank everybody involved. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Roderick?
Well, First, I'd like to say, while I am in favor of this efficiency study and voted in kind, I do also believe that it's a bit hypocritical that on one hand, we're spending $11.5 million, or rather borrowing that, to purchase all vehicles and everything else in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a 7% tax increase. And then the same very night, we're going to spend some money on an efficiency study, when in fact you could have easily just decided this year that you weren't going to purchase $4 million worth of new vehicles. So I'm voting in favor, or I voted in favor of this efficiency study, so that, you know, someone else can point out some of the waste that's going on around here. But again, everyone up here has to have the political will then to make the necessary cuts. So it's not just about showmanship and spending money and giving it to some purveyor to make suggestions. You know, like I said, it's very hypocritical for us to, on one hand, spend $11 million at a time like this, or rather borrow it, and then at the same time say that we're going to go out for an efficiency study. I mean, we really just have to stop the spending. That's all I have for this evening.
Councilwoman Burek.
Thank you. So the first comment I want to make has to do with the movement Stop Hate for Profit. So Stop Hate for Profit started as a coalition of advertisers who were working to stem the tide of hatred and hateful rhetoric on Facebook's products. The divisiveness in this country has reached a frightening pitch, spurred by the social media, as we've discussed previously right here in this chamber. At our last meeting, I quoted U.S. Census data, followed by a message of self-reflection, inclusion, diversity, and unity. My words were twisted and my meaning misrepresented on social media, resulting in escalating hateful and divisive commentary, messages, voicemails, culminating in this disgustingly racist, threatening letter sent to my home. I'm not going to read it. It's extremely offensive and threatening. It's where I live with my family. As leaders in the community, it is our responsibility to be part of the solution, to work toward unity and condemn deceitful, divisive, and hateful behavior. For the most part, this council and the previous one have been shining examples of bipartisanship, save one. We've demonstrated that we can disagree, but come to compromise and present civilly, for the most part. Last year, I helped organize and run the TR United Festival. And all but one of the council members, and those running but not yet elected, participated in the event. It was an awesome display of community. But whatever we've done is not enough. We must be ever determined in our efforts to stop the seeding of hate and division and continuously work toward equality, inclusion, and diversity with peace and unity. Hate for profit has real consequences for real people. It is our job to return our world to civility, to quell the deception and divisiveness all day and every day. In addition to that, I did want to mention that in the report list, this June, the Bailey Golf Course brought in $68,000 more than it brought in last year in the same month. And year to date, even though we were closed for several months, it has almost caught up to where we were last June. And I think that that is due to the hard work that we did. We had many meetings. We met with a consultant who evaluated our golf course because we were faced with a tough choice. We needed to revise the way that that golf course was set up and managed, or we were going to be in a position of not being able to maintain it any longer. So we did that, and we've had great success, and I'm really proud of that. And please, if you are not 6 feet away from someone, wear your mask. I know that we've been told for a long time that masks protect other people and not the wearer. I'm a registered nurse. I've been wearing masks to protect myself when I go into rooms with droplet precautions for over 30 years. It's no one-way valve on this thing. Even though it doesn't offer complete protection to the wearer, there is some level of protection for yourself, for your loved ones, and for everybody around. New Jersey is doing a fantastic job. We are one of only 2 states that don't have escalating numbers right now. So let's keep it up, wear your masks, wash your hands. Thank you.
Councilman Turnbuck.
Thank you, Council Vice President. I want to thank and congratulate Council Vice President Gagan, Councilman Kopp, Councilman Latano with regard to the achieving of the efficiency study and the retaining of the government strategy group. Certainly something that you ran on. You've been working towards it, and I know Councilwoman Yurick and I are both excited to see what recommendations are there and to work alongside of you. So I congratulate you because it's something you did run on and it's something you're delivering on. I also want to thank Councilman Latano for bringing the downtown dining night to Saturday night as well. Councilman Kopp, Councilman Latano, and I were down at one of the first events on a Friday night. Thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. Councilman Latano immediately reached out to the police department, the township, to see if we could extend this to Saturday night to help our downtown businesses and restaurants. And 2 to 3 weeks later, that's been achieved. So the message I'm trying to get across is that we are all working together and we're achieving good things to advance the needs of our town, to focus on our small businesses, to cut costs. And I just wanted to highlight both of those events. In the downtown, again, we have dining downtown Friday and Saturday nights. I encourage all of our residents to come downtown and patronize our restaurants that are participating in it. It's a fabulous night out. You dine right on Washington Street. It's Friday, Saturday night. Road gets shut down about 5 o'clock, 5:30. They start serving. By about 9:30, they're going to close that down. Also downtown every Wednesday at the New Life Christian Church on 700 Main Street, we have our farmers market, and that's from 11 to 5 p.m., so that's tomorrow. So again, I'm going to encourage all of our residents in Toms River, support your local businesses, come downtown, and support our downtown. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Kopp.
Thank you, Council Vice President. I'm proud to say that more great changes have been started today by this council and our great mayor. This couldn't have happened without our great staff and all the hard work they did. Other than that, that's all I have tonight. I would like to thank Councilman Latano also for reaching out to the police department and getting Saturday night. I think it's been a great success downtown, and there's going to be more to come this summer, but Councilman Latano was a giant player and making sure that happened, and thank you, Councilman Latano. That's all.
Councilman Latano.
Geez, thanks. No, it wasn't me. It was the efforts of the Toms River Police Department that, especially Deputy Chief Belcher and Chief Little, they really did some creative thinking and made it work so that the bid could perform dining in the street on Saturdays as well. It's a great thing for the community, and really it was the police department that really came through. Today we voted and we awarded the efficiency study and best practices study. Everyone has already said it. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to save money. Even Councilman Roderick had said we need to take advantage of the suggestions that are provided. I think we're all willing to do that. In anticipation for this study, we've already made cuts. Confidential employees were cut by over 20%, saving over $700,000 a year. There's been a freeze on non-critical jobs for hirings. And that's going to continue on through the end of the study. This town has already seen a lot of savings from a study that hasn't happened yet. So as the findings of this study come in and this council implements them, we're going to see more and more savings and more efficiencies. Like I said, the best practices, taking what another town has already figured out and implementing it here. This study is a key part to improve services and reduce costs, and it already has begun. It is the most exciting thing to happen for Toms River taxpayers in years. I'm very excited about it, and that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I only have a couple things. I also would like to thank Jesse Sipe and his company for sponsoring the fireworks. I think it came at a great time. Everybody was cooped up during the COVID, and they were looking for some type of normalcy, and it went off without a hitch, despite some maybe wishing that it didn't occur. Again, touching on the efficiency study, I believe, from what I'm told, the last time there was something done like this was in the 80s, mid to late 80s, although we haven't seen that. Our town and the level of service provided have changed greatly since that time. Society has changed, and their expectations of government has changed, except for wanting the best, cheapest service for your tax dollar. We look forward to the findings of this study so we can make informed and educated decisions about the operation of the various departments and their financial spending going forward. We feel that this is the most responsible approach to make the changes that are needed, that you demand. On another note, is Mr. Amoruso there? I can't see him. I received a call earlier. If you could, I'll reach out to you later. 2 issues in Holiday City with the freshly paved roads. They're very thankful. Mount Carmel and Yorktown, they're concerned about stop signs there, maybe painting on the street. And then there's a code enforcement issue up there. I'll give you the address afterwards. I also received a couple of calls earlier today from retired police officers about the health benefits, as well as spoke to Captain Eugene Clifton earlier. Apparently, I guess, and I'll take the responsibility for this, we're looking to save costs, and, maybe through the unions, they weren't informed as to the changes ahead of time. Maybe I'll ask if we can perhaps get Nora to push out through the unions. I'm sure they have an email list. There's some concerns, some questions, maybe a timeliness fashion, and I'll take the responsibility for that. We're all looking to save money. It affects me as well, and I voted for the change, so that's all.
We can certainly do that, but I can tell you that the company that we've hired, and it's been going on since the beginning of the year, did reach out. They've not gotten responses from everybody. It's a good program. It's very good for the retirees. And one of the things that came out is we were able to identify deceased insured over this.
I'm aware of that, yeah.
There was
Yeah.
incredibly costly. I think we removed 12 previously insured members from the rolls.
Right.
But we'll
Yeah.
definitely follow up on it.
I think they got a mail, with their new cards and all, and they didn't know anything about it, so,
Find out that there's actually a cost benefit, and there should be no change in service to the retirees.
as I explained to them, yeah, right, so. But, we just want to make sure they answer any questions we have with them, and everybody's on board as whatnot. But again, Captain Clifton, my apologies. So, on that note, open the floor up to public comments. Anybody from the public wish to be heard? Yes, sir. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address, please.
My name is Jimmy Rowland, and my address is 3437 Bergen Avenue.
Oh, okay, Mr. Rowland, how are you tonight?
First, Councilman Bloomberg, I think it's great that you're all for diversity. I think you all want that. No one likes to see what we see on TV every evening, all the violence around this country. No matter whether you disagree with you politically, any letter like that is disgusting, and nobody, for voicing an opinion, should be allowed to do that. My suggestion to you, though, is if you want more inclusion in Tom's River and for people of color or any other race to be able to move here, hold the line on taxes. Stop voting for $500,000 no bid contracts that violate our pay-to-play laws in this town, and maybe it'll be more affordable for people to live here. So I think there's a lot of ways to strive for diversity in this town, and that would definitely be one of them. It's no great joy that I come here this evening to talk about some of the things that I want to talk about. I'm going to take a break from all you guys congratulating each other on all your hard work. But we're in the middle of a pandemic, and we have a township crisis in our government at this point. It's pretty clear our pay-to-play laws have been broken in this town. And all of you voted, except for the exception of Mr. Roger. You guys all voted for it, and I don't know if that was a matter of not knowing the ordinance. I certainly hope not. But either you willfully went against it, or you didn't know it. But this is the white elephant in the room that needs to be talked about and handled, because pay-to-play is the biggest scourge against political apathy in this county. You look around this room, it should be a lot more crowded than it is. How crowded on a weekly basis with Tom's River residents is this room? And what drives them away from the politics of our town? And I'll give you another fine example. During the Zoom meetings, you had calling comments, you had email comments saying,
Think about hardworking people that work until 5:30. I know for me, racing to work here, trying to get changed, getting here, it's not easy on a random Tuesday at 6. Last meeting, Councilman Roderick recommended that we open the things up to emails and calls like we did before, and it was met with scorn and like, what's wrong with you for even mentioning it? I would assume as a body, you want to encourage more involvement by our town people in this whole thing, because obviously the more we're together in this and the more we learn from each other, we can have that diversity and we can have a better run town. But at this point, I really would hope that all of you apologize to the residents of Townsville for voting for that no bid pay to play contract. That you are the check on his power. You are the check to ensure that these things don't happen. So now this ends up in an embarrassing public case that we're going to have to now go. I understand it was rightfully brought. So before it, you guys should really get together and apologize to the town. And just whether it was a bad judgment or whatever it was, we all make mistakes. But it's time to own up to those mistakes. Mayor Hill, all I can tell you is you won by an extremely slim margin. You really did not have it.
Sir, it's a council meeting, so you have to direct all comments to the council president. Okay, thanks. If you want to address him, feel free to call his office.
Oh, I've talked to him.
Okay.
I've talked to him before, and I appreciate that.
No, well, we're just trying to keep some normalcy and some regimen into the meeting.
It's fine. I'm not
That's
aware of all your practices. I'm just a normal, hardworking guy.
As are we all. Yes, thank you.
I'm sure you are, and I don't take that away.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can also understand as a resident why I'm a little bit bothered by what's going on. Right or wrong?
Okay. Anything else? Any further, sir?
No, that's it.
All right.
You guys have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from the public wish to be heard?
Is the microphone on? I didn't hear it.
Yes, sir. Did you have a comment, sir? Or wish to be heard? Does anybody from the public wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am. If you would, step up to the microphone, state your name and address, please. Thank you.
Arliss Cohen, 492 Eagle Point Drive, Townsville.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, you definitely can't hear it.
Do not be heard.
Hello?
Yeah.
As you know, I'm with the Second Amendment Sanctuary of Ocean County. It seems like we haven't heard back from anybody. We came, we said what we wanted to say. We asked if you guys had read the resolution. There was some misunderstanding about the resolution, the Second Amendment Sanctuary. What it says simply in the resolution is that we are law-abiding citizens. We're not going to not follow the current laws, okay? That has nothing to do with that. So what it means is we are not going to allow, or we're going to be really angry if they constantly shred the Second Amendment, which they've been doing. And basically, you guys are our council. You guys speak for us. You're our fiduciary. You're our voice. So we feel like we're not being listened to. And it's just with all this craziness that's happening all over the world. And Lori, I'm so sorry that had to happen to you. I'm a nurse for over 30 years. I was a victim of an attack. And as a woman who couldn't fight back, which resulted in 15, 16 years of mixed martial arts until my neck is shot, look, the Second Amendment is there for a reason. It's there for us to be able to protect ourselves. I don't want to kill anybody. I don't hunt. But I should never be told that I cannot have that right to protect myself or my loved ones. That's our constitutional right. So I really hope that people are listening, because I feel like I'm not being heard. None of us are. So thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you for your comments. I do believe you are being heard in the public. Anybody else from the public wish to be heard? Anybody have any comments? Anybody? Last chance? Yes, sir.
Hey, friends. Hey, friends. I hope you're doing well.
Hi.
I'm Dan Valentine, 660 Huckleberry Lane, Tom's River.
How are you?
This is my second meeting that I've attended. I'm having trouble understanding a lot of the things that are going on. It seems like it's speaking legalese. I would love it if there were somebody that was a sort of translator that would translate things into just common understanding for the common person that's showing up to the meeting, because I feel like I need a law degree. And like when you're talking about these different bills, you're going through it like 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, and I don't personally know what that is. I would love if there were.
Yeah, what that is, that's the bill list number that are there on the table. If certain ones, for instance, I've been on Silverton First Aid for 40 years, so any bills pertaining to that organization, I have to abstain, as does Councilman Kopp. And if there's not enough votes for it, it would get carried to, the next meeting. Growing up in town, we might be involved in different organizations. We all have families, we all have houses here, so our concerns are yours, but we might have different conflicts, so it's better if we have any question, we would certainly abstain from it. So, if that helps answer your question. But it does get confusing for all of us, especially us new ones.
I would love if there was some sort of translator, so consider that sort of idea.
All right, thank you very much. Does any other member of the public wish to be heard? Any member?
Seeing none, I move to close the public comments portion of the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Move to executive session.
Yep. Do we have a second? Do we need a second?
Second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everybody, for coming.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances to discuss matters requiring confidentiality and/or of a privileged nature, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River and the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey as follows. The Township Council will now conduct a private executive session. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed and/or acted upon is as follows. Matters of personnel, attorney-client privilege, and contract negotiations. The following specific items to be discussed and/or acted upon are as follows. The executive session minutes review of May 12, 2020 and June 23, 2020. Personnel issues of both the Township Clerk's Office and Administration, and the review of status of all real property acquisitions. It is anticipated that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed upon to the public by the determination of the Township Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. It was voted to go into executive session by Councilwoman Yorick, seconded by Councilman Latano, with all in favor at 6:38 p.m.
there's no need for it. It actually goes to the. Yeah, what's happened over the last 4 years is what's
Want to meet me at the boat?
Motion to go back into public session.
All in favor? Do I have a motion to adopt the executive session minutes of May 12th, 2020? Who made the first? I'm going to call roll. Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kopp. Councilman Latano. Councilman Roderick. Councilman Turnbuck.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan. Do I have a motion to adopt the minutes, the executive session minutes of June 23rd, 2020? Call roll again. Motion made by Councilman Turnbuck, second by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Turnbuck.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kopp. Councilman Latano. Councilman Roderick. Council Vice President Gagan. And do I have a motion to close?
Motion closed.
All in favor? 6:56. Thank you, everyone.